What is going on, everyone? Anthony here, and welcome back to another episode here of the Let's Talk Resident Evil podcast. I know it's been a little bit, but this will just kind of be like an update, kind of little podcast to let you guys know what's going on. Nothing crazy here, no fancy editing. This is just kind of bare bones, but I'm going to be uploading this on all the audio platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Libsyn for free as well. The podcast is always there to check out. And of course, we got, the merch down below. We got the hoodies, we got the shirts, the logo hoodies and stuff like that. So definitely check that out. It's getting cold, so get yourself an LTRE hoodie and get some merch. And we also have our YouTube member link down there and Patreon as well, and all of our social media platforms. So thank you for tuning in for this new episode of the podcast. Like I said, I know it's a little bare bones, it's a little bit different. This is more just going to be like a state of the channel kind of thing. But as you guys know, with the announcement that happened earlier this week, John has left LTRE. And as you guys know, making the full-time journey for this channel is, something that I'm still pursuing, and it's going to continue. It is just me here on this channel now, but that doesn't mean that things are going to stop. It doesn't mean things are going to slow down. If anything, things are going to just pick up just like they were. The first 8 years of the channel, I would say I did on my own. Obviously, like I had people help me with shows and stuff like that, but I was just kind of pretty much like a one-man team, uploading everything, doing everything, and that's and editing everything, and that's kind of what it's come down to now. This isn't, because we were fighting or there was any arguments or any disagreements about the channel. I think obviously this year has been a little rough on everyone, I think, in general, in combination of last year and this year, right? Just in general with how everything's been. We had a lot of health scares, with John and stuff like that in the year. So there was a lot of starting and then stopping and then starting and then stopping. And then with 2-player, it was the same thing with, like, we wanted to do 2-player and we wanted to do something else to do more games. But when we made the full-time leap, it wasn't being monetized. So the more we put into it, yeah, we could have maybe grown it, but monetary wise, it made sense to just put all of our efforts into LTRE. And it was a little too soon to launch 2-player. But again, that's just like, it is what it is. It's not like it would have helped us anyway, because we wouldn't have gotten to 1,000 subs in the time that we wanted to anyway, which isn't a big deal. But this year, obviously, like I said, there's been a lot of back and forth and trying to, figure out what's going on. And with this decision that we made, it was just John is 3 years older than me. He has more stuff going on. He has more expenses. There's stuff that goes into living situations and all that stuff. And a lot of this stuff's personal. So that's why we don't air the stuff out online, because we just want to let you guys know that, like, it's not some conspiracy or something stupid. It literally was just a mutual conversation. I'm going in one direction, he's going in another direction with, like, he's doing his own thing and his own content. I'm going to be here on LTRE. The channel isn't changing, the name isn't changing, the brand isn't changing. This is still, something that I created in 2010, February of 2010. So we're coming up on 12 years of doing this. We were a blueprint on the platform, for sure, without a doubt. This was the first channel on YouTube that actually tried to dedicate a YouTube channel and a YouTube community and put it together with collection updates and Let's Plays of my favorite games of all time, being Resident Evil. And we were the first podcast on here too, on YouTube anyway. I know there were some that were in the ether online and on their own websites, but this was the first one on YouTube. So I am proud of that. I'm proud of being among the first before the RE community became what it was now on YouTube, and there's a million channels doing a million things. I'm happy that I've stood my ground, and things have changed and things, go in different directions, but it doesn't mean that, we can't adapt and, grow still. And I still want to be successful with this. This is still my journey to, doing what I like to do, and content is what I like to do. And obviously filmmaking, which is on my other channel, Inocula Productions, which I'll put the link down below. As you guys know, that's been my film channel since 2007. There's going to be more regular content coming on there. I'm trying to get that to 1,000 so I can start monetizing it. It used to be monetized along with this channel, but of course they changed the, you got to hit the marks, you got to hit the check marks, you got to be 1,000 subs, you have to have certain watch time, so on and so forth. So I think I'm at like 6 something on there, but it's something that like I'm working on a short film right now, editing wise. So once that gets closer to release, you'll see me roll out the promotion a little bit more, and we'll talk about it. But basically what it comes down to is everyone's happy, everyone's just doing their own thing. And, I'm sorry if that disappoints you. I'm sorry if that, makes you leave, or if you don't want to, show up anymore. It's all good. You might be asking, well, what's going on with the content? Well, that's what this is about. That's what, I've taken the past couple of days to ask the community on YouTube, on the community tab. If you're subscribed, you can, go on there, and it's a post or a poll for everybody to vote on. It's not limited to anything. But one of them was, what kind of VOD or video on demand content would you like? Actual videos. Obviously, live streams are still going to happen and stuff like that. I'll talk about that in a second. But as far as the videos, a lot of people wanted to see individual Resident Evil game reviews of, starting with, I don't know, maybe the first one. I've done a couple reviews on it in the past, but post Legacy series and post playing a bunch of the titles in recent years, like over and over and over again. Not that I never stopped, but experiencing them with, whether it was with John or the community itself, now I think it's like everything's kind of like, I'm kind of like revamped in a way. Like I have like, I don't know, like I just feel refreshed about it, if that makes sense, like to approach it differently. I guess that's what I'm trying to say, is like I'm trying to just approach the writing process of those reviews a little bit differently, because it's coming from me. And I've done that in the past with my old reviews, but these will pretty much replace them in terms of production quality and me being on camera and doing skits or whatever the case may be. So I'm going to make it fun. And, but all 3 are going to be considered. The ones that were considered on the poll were the Resident Evil memory videos, which some people really like. It's just kind of me reflecting on memories of a particular game or a movie. I can talk forever about them. So those are just videos I can always do in between stuff. The reviews will take longer because they'll be heavier in production quality, but the payoff, in my opinion, should be a lot more worth it once it's like out there, and it's like it's getting stuff kind of like recognized as like something that stands out from the bulk of Resident Evil material that's out there, because I have to make it stand out. And obviously it's me and it's my personality, so like that's what makes it stand out. But in the ether and the algorithm of YouTube and the reign of 1,000 reviews of the first game, second game, third game that there's been since the 12 years of this channel's existence, there's a lot. So to try to make a noise in that crowd, I'll still try, and I'm still going to just make it for you guys. And obviously if it gets more traction and it gets good views, great. To see them do well monetarily is the goal. I don't want to put time and effort into a video and lose money or anything like that. Obviously this is like a journey that, that has to be in mind with this journey that I'm taking. So that's going to happen, as well as Resident Evil unpopular opinions, or unpopular opinions in the Resident Evil community, which me and John have tackled in the past. But this is something that is always ongoing, because I can always just put up a community post and then read a couple of replies and stuff like that. So it's a little bit more community interactive, and that's kind of that's what I want to keep. I really want to keep track of, and make community posts more, and obviously the Discord I've been on more anyway. That's one goal I think I've achieved this year, was Discord interaction and stuff like that has been a little bit higher than it was in 2020. I think it also has to do with like just the job situation changing and everything. I've been able to attend a little bit more to it. Obviously, John did a great job with the Discord, and it's still the same and everything. So, that's all good. Those were the 3 options for the poll. And of course the review won, in terms of percentage, but I don't want people to think like everything else is getting disregarded. I just know kind of what people want to see from me, a little bit more, and there'll probably be more poll interaction stuff for the for the VODs, you know. So let's talk about live stream. Now that the VODs are kind of taken care of, there's still going to be Resident Evil Collection updates. There's still going to be random news videos that come out or anything that's like that I'm covering, right? But the big thing is live streaming. So with live streaming, I know that we had planned to do the deep dive and to do Code Veronica, and that's what we were in the middle of doing when we, had to stop due to, John's health concerns, and we kept trying to start, and then it stopped and start and then stopped. And then by the time we tried to get back in the swing of things, this all happened in the past, couple weeks. So it's just one of those things where I am going to be scrapping the deep dive. I can't do them with someone else that isn't like here, like physically, because it's more of like an interactive one-on-one process. You can do deep dives and stuff like that, but the nature that we were approaching it and attacking it can't really be done. So that is just going to be kaput. Unfortunately, like I am happy that we didn't. I mean, technically, yes, we did do the lore streams, and I can still do lore streams for games. But I'm happy that we never really started the deep dive as a full episodic podcast like we wanted to, because it would have left you guys hanging. It would have been like, hey, here's Code Veronica Part 1 or Part 2, and then nothing else would have came after that. So I'd rather just scrap it while this stuff's happening in our lives and changes are happening, so we can kind of, or I can kind of approach the channel, so it still feels like, a wave washed over me, and I'm still trying to kind of put more of try to figure out my footing and everything with what you guys want to see and how I want to see the channel grow and obviously do well. So all the support that you guys have been giving me and John just in the past, like in the past couple of years, I don't regret anything. If I could still, I said it in a stream earlier, but I want to kind of solidify, like if I could do it again, I would do it the same. That's for sure. And, I'm happy that we grew to, 16.2K, which is great. But I don't want to stop there. I don't want to be stagnant. So with live streaming, because the deep dive isn't there, and I'm not going to jump into that next, we can switch it up a little bit on the channel. So I obviously, I want to really have the viewers vote on, what kind of live streams we can bring to the table, as far as like mods. There's obviously, a bunch of stuff that we could still do as far as dice lock challenges. There's a lot of, fun with that. And as well as stipulation runs, playing the games with different stipulations like RE Challenger. Shout out to RE Challenger, Nuge, Nathan, Izzy, all of them there, Gowdy. They're all great people, and they're awesome. They're like the best RE channel. But I always loved that concept. So, adding like polls to the community tab that kind of votes out stipulations like handgun only, shotgun only for whatever game. Let's just say if it's like Resident Evil 4 or Remake or whatever. I want to kind of start doing that a little bit more. I want to obviously switch up the streams. Like, I know we've played all these games to death, and I know that you've seen them a bunch of times, and I do feel there's part of me that, I feel bad because I know I know there's a percentage of you that don't care, and you guys will just support, and, I appreciate that. But I don't want you guys to be bored of me or bored of the material that I'm playing. So one thing that I'm going to be doing to switch it up here on LTRE, and no, I'm not changing the brand, I'm not changing the name, but we're going to still stay survival horror, but I'm going to probably dedicate a day a week or every other week, depending on the views and the algorithm, because that's what I have to pay attention to now. It is hard to maintain, because once you put something out on your channel that isn't Resident Evil, even if it's survival horror, it's a little bit harder to push. Now, we've done this in the past. This channel has not been, even though it's been Resident Evil themed since the beginning, I've dipped my toe into Dead Rising 1 and 2. Me and Dave did that. Me and Dave Strauss did Silent Hill 1 and 2, right? We've done Dead Space in the past. Me and Richard have done Dead Space. So, but not only can some of them be revisited because it's been a while, Dead Rising would be 3. I would actually go back and do 3 because I've never played 3. I've played 1, I've played 2, never played 3. So I would do something like that. But just to switch something up. Keep it survival horror, but maybe do something like Tormented Souls, maybe. That's the biggest thing that a lot of people have wanted me to play because it is very survival horror-esque. It's very Resident Evil, and it kind of makes sense in this, wheelhouse of survival horror. And there's Alan Wake. There's a bunch of stuff that I can play or dedicate, a video to every week or every other week. Obviously, I need your help. I need your support, because YouTube's system kind of bites back at you putting something else on there. It's like if I just did like a video, like even though it's survival horror, it doesn't matter, because it's almost like if I'm just like, all right, guys, Resident Evil, Resident Evil, Resident Evil. You get those streams every week, you get the podcast, and then all of a sudden I do a fucking Gears of War video. And that it's just going to tank, right? Because it's not, there's horror elements to Gears of War, but like I would never actually do Gears of War. This is just me saying it completely drops. And the same thing with a different survival horror game. In the past, it could have been with Evil Within. I did Evil Within on the channel in the past. Not a lot of people know this because you might be newer, but back in 2014, I did a fresh, as soon as that game came out, fresh off the presses, let's play of Evil Within. But again, it didn't do well because it was not, maybe it wasn't the right time. Obviously, the channel has grown, but you get my point. So I'm going to need your help. I'm going to do this anyway. I'm not going to, I did a poll last night, and it was overwhelming with people that said, yes, do it. I think there was like 5% of people or 6% of people that said no. Everyone else said yes, they would want to switch it up. John mentioned doing videos talking about how it relates to Resident Evil. There's a lot of stuff that I can do that kind of is in that wheelhouse, and I want to start expanding. And to be honest with you, I guess I did it in the past and I haven't done it recently. And I think that was just because it was me and John's thing to just stick with the RE stuff, because to be honest with you, when me and John were working together at the height of everything, it was just Resident Evil, like everything was coming out. The news was coming out. RE3 Remake was fresh. We were just coming off of RE2 Remake. The hype was real, and it just kept building, right? We couldn't really do anything else during that time, because if I did, it would have just fucked up the algorithm. We really had to like focus on just the Resident Evil stuff, just streaming that. We did the Legacy series. We did stuff that catered towards that, and it all worked out in the end because we were able to grow and everything. So I don't regret that. I just think that when there is downtime and when there isn't Resident Evil stuff being announced, we still know there's Village DLC coming out. We still know that there's a Netflix show coming out. We still know RE4 Remake is being developed, and they might leak some more stuff. Who knows, right? So that stuff will still be covered, but just to switch it up every week or every other week, I don't know yet. I could just dedicate one day a week to just like another survival horror lane. So I just think it will be really cool and refreshing to, switch it up. And like I said, it's not like it's completely, out of the ordinary around here. It just, as of lately, with the last couple of years, it's been drive time for Resident Evil. Let's be honest. We had the announcement of the remakes. We had a brand new sequel that was coming out, which was Village, and we covered that. We had the movie. So it was really just back and forth, like RE, and that's fine, because again, that's what we're here to do. We're here to talk Resident Evil, but we're also here to experience other survival horror games that Resident Evil influenced, and to talk about them, and whether it's like breakdown videos or just live streams of us playing it and finishing it. Like, it's not like I'll just like come on one day a week, play a game for 3 hours and never go back and finish it. No, we'll make it like Tormented Souls this week, RE statistic or dice lock streams one week, and then we go back to Tormented Souls the following. I just want to see how it does, if that makes sense, before I like dive right in and say, you know what, guys, I'm playing a different survival horror game every week. If it does really well, it might be 2 times a week. I don't know. It just has to. Resident Evil's never going to lose the main focus, basically. This is a Resident Evil survival horror channel. It always has been. I'm not changing it. I'm not changing myself to, a gaming channel with just like whatever. This is what I like to do. And my other escape from this, I don't want to call it escape because it acts like, it makes it sound like I'm trapped. But my other outlet is my film channel, because I've been doing that for so long. And I love that because it switches it up from sitting in front of, a monitor or a TV and playing games. It's more so like watching movies, talking about movies, or doing short films or feature films. And that's what like I've always wanted to do. So I'm kind of doing a hybrid of both with both channels. So that's why I don't really get like tired of it, right? But the last thing I want to do is make you guys not come back because you see that I'm streaming the same thing and I can't add anything to it. You know what I mean? At least if I stream Resident Evil 2 original and I'm streaming it with like, handgun only, no side packs, no shotgun or something like that. Like it makes it a little bit more interesting. It's kind of like a dice lock, but the dice lock constantly changes. So you guys kind of like that because you're in control with the donations and stuff like that. They're really fun. We'll probably do them. I'm going to put up a poll that, kind of like, I guess, continues this discussion a little bit further of like what live streams you would want to see and stuff like that. All will be considered anyway, because I think I just have to try each one and see what kind of works. But I kind of just like to see, I kind of like to get inside your head and see what you're thinking about like the content and what you want to see. So, but yeah, so that's kind of like a little bit of like an insight as as to what I've been up to. But like, I also just want you guys to know that like things won't change on here. It's just going to be more productive. And I guess this is just me saying, hey, if you, obviously came here for me or John, and that's great. And obviously John has his channel, which I'll put in the link down below, and I'll share his stream coming up. He's doing Silent Hill. So it's John Griever. So that's all down there. So check out John and his endeavors, obviously. But yeah, so that's kind of what I wanted to narrow it down to is like, why this is happening. I don't want you guys to be sideswiped by this, but I know it's going to take a lot of people by surprise. And if you guys just came back from me and John's chemistry and personalities bouncing off each other, I'm sorry. It's there. Like all that content is there and the podcasts are there with me and him. But I'm just kind of going back to, this is the path that I'm on right now. And, it's not like I'm not friends with him. It's not like he won't show up to, 24-hour streams of new releases or stuff like that. But obviously, as far as a regular on the channel, it's just going to be me. And as far as the podcast, last but not least, we're going to talk about this show because I don't really have a co-host anymore. So the thing is now is, since I've just going to carry the torch as the host, I'll probably still do that, but I'll probably just make it more of a guest-oriented show where I can plan out and talk. Again, I got a couple in the works, so thank you for everyone who you are, who's talked to me in private about, teaming up because they know what's been going on and how I want to try to get the ball rolling with the show. And I would still like to put out a couple shows a month, 2 shows a month, maybe 3, depending on if we do like a Patreon show. But if we do 2 shows a month, 1 to 2 shows, if they're longer, that's fine. I only say 1 to 2. I want to dedicate 2, but I got to find the time to get someone else for those shows. Now, some of the podcasts can be just like this, me sitting in front of the camera talking about whatever. And that could happen. That might have to happen, to be honest with you. There's some podcasts where people just podcast alone and they talk. They can handle it. I don't know if I can. If you guys like that kind of thing, let me know. But that wouldn't be just what the show consists of. I'm just saying when there's like a news break or there's like an important topic I feel like I want to dive further into that's like longer than an average like 6 to 10 minute video. Yeah, like I might just come on here and just shoot the shit if I can't like hit up someone and be like, hey, come on the show, So because I still want to add production quality to the show. I did like the fact that I was able to shoot stuff in person and cut between different camera angles. It took a long fucking time to do those shows, but I liked adding a production quality to it, so I would still add a layer of quality to it that's punchier, that's a little bit different than other shows out there. And a lot of you guys liked the, say what you want. It could be, Double Toasted or Joe Rogan, whatever you want to say, the cut between the angles. I still like doing that. It's more cinematic. It's more intensive editing, but it's, it's pretty cool to, until I get a video switcher and I can just click back and forth. But with Streamlabs, if I'm doing podcasts over, Discord or something, I can actually switch that they have a scene switcher, so you can just select, you can just tap, whatever, and you can get it going. So that's cool. But it's all work in progress, guys. So just bear with me here. I know it's a little strange, and I know it's a little weird, and I'm sorry if it disappoints you, and if you leave and you go somewhere else, and it's all good. But like I said, I just want to let you know that stuff won't change here. If anything, it's just going to be more. I'm going to just try to be more innovative and come up with new ideas, and just try to do stuff that, maybe I had the idea of, or, I just didn't have time, or we didn't have time back then. But it's all good. So, like, nothing's happening. Nothing's changing. We're approaching 12 years of content on this channel. I think we have over 1,000 uploads at this point. So I'm very proud of that. And I'm not stopping. So, I still want to do interviews on the show with, like, guests, as far as, like, whether it's RE community people or just actual people from the Resident Evil franchise. That's still a goal of mine. My mindset was I didn't want to wait any longer. I wanted to attack right now to see what the community feels, do all the videos, go back into live streaming. I didn't want to wait. So I just kind of wanted to do it. And that's kind of like my mindset recently, because of how I've been just kind of like going with the short film and doing that side of things. And then over here, like, trying to make sure that, this is my income. So the more I put into it, the more I get out of it. And I just want to be transparent with you guys and let you guys know what's going on. So, just thank you for listening to this conversation. It's kind of like a channel update, state of the channel, what's going on. All this stuff I'm working out now, and then by the time obviously 2022 hits, I'll just have a more consistent idea of kind of what I want. So that's kind of why I'm working stuff out now, and I'm already just doing it. I'm already on to the next thing. So, stay tuned for more content here on LTRE. Stay tuned for more shows. I know it's been a while since we've had a show. That wasn't, we had the Welcome to Raccoon City review, but, I know before that it was a little bit of a drop off. I still want to review the movies. I haven't forgotten about that. Extinction, Afterlife, Retribution, Final Chapter. They still have to get reviewed. They will be reviewed because I want to review them on here. So again, that's something that I'm just going to have to figure out, because we've never done like in-depth reviews on them before. Me and John did the first film in Apocalypse. We did Welcome to Raccoon City, obviously, but I still want to do in-depth reviews on those movies and talk about them and stuff like that. So, again, I'll try to figure it out and see who we can get on here. If you have any suggestions for, people that you would want to see in the RE community, leave it down below, I guess, or just let me know. I already have a couple in the works, so, obviously I won't listen to you guys. I'll just do what I want anyway, but it'll be nice to hear what you guys think. So let me know in the comments down below how you're feeling about everything. And again, hit that thumbs up, hit the like button if you're watching this on YouTube. You can obviously download all the podcasts up, I think not all the original, the old school ones, but up until a certain point where we started to add them on to the digital platform. So the last like 4 years are up there. So the last 4 years of shows are all up there. Spotify, Libsyn, Apple Podcasts. And of course, check out the merch down below, LTRE.store. And that has all your hoodies and long sleeve crew necks and all the logo shirts and the Village hoodie and stuff like that. And we also have the YouTube membership, which is $5 a month. You get emojis and all that good stuff. And you can sign up for the Patreon, which we do extra content, Patreon hangouts, and live streams, all that good stuff. And, of course, check us out on all the social media platforms down below. And we also have our NordVPN link. Yes, we are affiliated with NordVPN. So if you want to sign up for NordVPN and protect yourself against all that crap on the online or on the internet when you're shopping for the holidays, click that link below and you'll save some money on your NordVPN. So check that out. And thank you again for listening, watching, and cheers to the future. And stay tuned.